Have you ever bitten into a piece of chocolate so rich and decadent that it melted away every worry in your mind, only to wonder, moments later, why the sweetness left you feeling even emptier inside? That's the kind of mystery that keeps me up at night, friend, and it's exactly where our journey begins today. You see, we've all chased those fleeting highs, the quick laugh, the endless scroll through our feeds, the rush of a new crush. But what if I told you they're not just innocent indulgences? What if they're clever veils hiding something raw and aching deep within us? Lean in closer, because I'm about to unravel this for you, drawing from the profound insights of Dr. Elias Thorne, a brilliant American thinker who spent his life exploring the hidden corners of the human soul. By the time we're done, you might never chase pleasure the same way again, and that shift could fill your heart with a quiet power you've been missing all along. Picture this. It's early morning. The sun's just peeking through your curtains, and before your feet even hit the floor, your hand reaches for your phone like it's an old friend calling you back to bed. No alarms blaring, no urgent messages waiting, just that pull, stronger than the growl in your stomach after a long night. You swipe open an app, and there it is. A funny video of a cat knocking over a vase, making you chuckle for a heartbeat. But then it's gone, replaced by another clip and another, until hours slip away like sand through your fingers. The day fades, but that nagging emptiness, it lingers, doesn't it? You set the phone aside, maybe grab a bag of chips or a candy bar, crunching away, not because you're truly hungry, but because something inside is whispering for relief. And then comes the wave of regret, washing over you like a cold tide. Why does it feel so wrong when it seemed so right in the moment? Oh, I know that feeling all too well, my friend. It's like we're living in a world overflowing with delights, streaming shows, social media buzz, instant gratifications at every turn. Yet we're hungrier than ever for something real. Dr. Elias Thorne, that wise soul from the heart of New York, once shared a truth that hits like a thunderclap. The comforts we pursue so desperately are often the barriers keeping us from true mending. He believed every one of us carries a shadow side, a part of ourselves we tuck away under layers of distractions. And pleasure? It's the tool we use to bury it deeper. When you munch on snacks out of boredom, scroll aimlessly through profiles, or lose yourself in a fleeting romance not born of genuine affection, you're not embracing joy. You're numbing the pain. It's a temporary bandage over a wound that needs air to heal. Let me paint a clearer picture for you. Think back to when you were just a little kid, say 6 years old, playing in the backyard on a sunny afternoon in suburban Chicago. You trip over a loose stone, scrape your knee raw on the pavement, and the tears come hot and fast. The sting is unbearable, and you wail for comfort. But instead of a hug or a listening ear, someone, maybe your mom or dad, rushed and well-meaning, hands you a cookie and says, "Here, sweetie, this'll make it better. Dry those tears and watch your favorite cartoon." In that instant, something shifts inside you. Pain becomes something to hide, emotions a sign of weakness, and pleasure steps in as the quick fix. It's not a lesson you remember word for word, but your body does. It wires itself to seek out those distractions whenever the hurt bubbles up. Fast forward to now, as an adult navigating the chaos of daily life. That childhood pattern echoes in everything. The way you binge-watch episodes late into the night to drown out loneliness after a tough day at work. Or how you text an ex just to feel that spark of excitement, even when you know it's not what your heart truly needs. Dr. Thorne saw this clearly. He called it the shadow, that unspoken part of us screaming for attention. But we keep shoveling on the pleasures. A shopping spree for clothes you won't wear, a night out with friends where the laughter feels forced, all to avoid facing the quiet storm within. And here's the heart-wrenching part. Each time we do this, we're not filling ourselves up. We're carving out a deeper void. The relief is fleeting, like a summer rain that evaporates too soon, leaving the ground cracked and thirsty. I want you to feel this with me, friend. Imagine you're sitting alone in your living room on a rainy evening, the kind where the world outside seems muffled and distant. No TV blaring, no music filling the air, just you and the sound of your own breathing. Does it make your skin crawl? Does the silence feel like an unwelcome guest, poking at old wounds you'd rather forget? That's what Thorne meant when he said we've trained ourselves to fear stillness. Pleasure becomes our shield, but it's a flimsy one. Remember that time you promised yourself you'd meditate for just 5 minutes, only to grab your phone instead? It's not laziness. It's a deep-seated avoidance, born from years of choosing escape over embrace. Let me share a little side story to make this hit home. There was this guy named Jack Reynolds, a hard-working mechanic from Detroit, who lived for his weekend escapes. He'd hit the bars, chase the thrill of new faces, and wake up Sunday mornings with a hangover and a hollow chest. One night, after yet another empty fling, he sat on his porch staring at the stars, and for the first time, he let the quiet in. No beer to numb it, no distractions to chase. Tears came, unbidden, as memories of a lonely childhood flooded back. Parents, too busy arguing to notice his fears. In that moment, Jack didn't run. He listened, and slowly the ache transformed into understanding. That's the power Thorne talked about. When we misuse pleasure, it chains us, but when we face the shadow, it sets us free. Now, don't get me wrong, pleasure isn't the villain here. It's like a beautiful melody that can lift your spirits when played right. The problem is when we use it as a crutch, letting it drown out the symphony of our inner world. Thorne put it so poignantly. We go to great lengths, no matter how ridiculous, to sidestep our own essence. Isn't that the truth? We've built entire lives around these absurd chases. The perfect Instagram feed, the latest gadget, the endless cycle of likes and notifications, all to avoid that intimate dance with ourselves. Let's dive even deeper, shall we? Envision yourself as a weary traveler trekking through a vast, sun-scorched desert in the American Southwest. Mirages shimmering on the horizon like promises of oasis. You sprint toward one, heart pounding with hope, only for it to dissolve into dust. Undeterred, you chase the next, and the next, convinced this time it'll quench your thirst. That's the trap of hollow pleasure. It's the mirage we mistake for water. But real nourishment? It's quieter, more profound. It's in those heartfelt talks with a dear friend over coffee in a cozy diner, where words flow like a gentle river, washing away isolation. It's the pride swelling in your chest after tackling a project you dreaded, like finally organizing that cluttered garage or finishing a book that's been gathering dust. It's waking up one morning and realizing the cravings that once ruled you have loosened their grip, leaving space for genuine peace. Why don't we crave that kind more often? Because it's not handed to us on a silver platter. It demands effort, vulnerability, a willingness to sit with discomfort. Yet, oh, how it rewards. Think of Emily Carter, a school teacher from Seattle, who spent years jumping from one toxic relationship to another. She'd call herself a hopeless romantic, always falling hard and fast. But each romance crumbled under the weight of unspoken pains. One day, after a particularly brutal breakup, Emily decided to try something radical. She turned off her dating apps, cleared her schedule, and spent evenings journaling by the window, facing the loneliness head-on. No distractions, no quick fixes. Through tears and revelations, she uncovered wounds from her past. A distant father, a mother who prized perfection over emotion, By integrating those shadows, as Thorne would say, Emily found a love for herself that no partner could match. Now, her relationships bloom from a place of wholeness, not desperation. This isn't just Emily's tale. It's woven into the fabric of so many lives. We mix up longing with true connection, endless browsing with actual curiosity, temporary highs with lasting healing. The real danger lurks in never pausing to question, why do I reach for this? What am I really hungry for? Thorne shattered the myth that pleasure equals healing or power. It's merely a tool, and like any tool, it can build or destroy, depending on how we wield it. Flip the script with me now. Recall a time you held back from that impulse, the late-night snack you skipped, the impulsive text you deleted, the online shopping cart you abandoned. How did it feel afterward? A quiet pride, right? A sense of inner strength blooming like spring flowers after a harsh winter. That's because discipline isn't punishment. It's trust in yourself. And that trust is the ultimate rush. When you choose pleasure deliberately, savoring a homemade meal after a day of purposeful work, sharing a genuine laugh with someone who sees the real you, it transforms from a chain into a celebration. Imagine stepping into a simple room in your mind's eye. Bare walls, a single chair, no gadgets or noise. Instead of bolting for the door in panic, you settle in, feeling a warmth spread through you. You're home, not because the space is perfect, but because you've become whole. This is what Thorne called individuation, merging all parts of yourself, light and shadow, into a tapestry of authenticity. It's not about denying pleasures or grinding through life without joy. It's about weaving them in without letting them overshadow your truth. So, how do we get there? It starts small, friend. Next time your fingers itch for the phone, pause and whisper to yourself, what am I dodging right now? Let the loneliness wash over you, without rushing to patch it with sweets or swipes. Opt for the slower joys. A walk in the park where you notice the rustle of leaves. A conversation that dives deep into dreams and fears. A hobby pursued with patient passion. These earned pleasures aren't flashy, but they nourish like nothing else. The best hug comes after opening up about your vulnerabilities. The deepest sleep follows a day lived with intention. If these words are stirring something in you, a flutter of recognition, a pang of emotion, that's the spark of awakening. It's not a dramatic fireworks show. It's a soft dawn breaking, inviting you to choose. Will I keep smothering my pains with superficial fixes, or will I meet them with open arms? Thorne taught that our deepest struggles stem not from past hurts alone, but from our stubborn refusal to face their echoes. Pleasure, when grabbed blindly, keeps us in that cycle, but awareness breaks it wide open. We're nearing the heart of it now, and I need you to brace yourself, because this truth doesn't just prick. It can shatter illusions you've held dear. To reclaim your life from these false lures, you must confront a painful admission. You've been your own betrayer, day after day, in quiet ways. Every just one more episode, every impulse buy to fill an emotional gap, every avoidance of solitude because it echoes too loudly with unspoken regrets. It's not about wallowing in shame, though. No, this is liberation. You weren't weak. You were surviving in a world that taught you to hide. But now, with eyes wide open, you're poised to thrive. Let this image sear into your memory. Your life is a cozy old house on a tree-lined street in small-town America, with creaky floors and rooms full of forgotten stories. Inside dwells your inner child, bandaged and waiting, alongside truths you've long ignored. But rather than walking through the front door to greet them, you've set up a bustling fairground in the yard, blaring music, flashing lights, cotton candy stands, endless games. The party rages on, drowning out the calls from within. That's unchecked pleasure, a distraction carnival that keeps you from going home. True healing? It's mustering the courage to turn off the noise, step inside, pull up a chair beside that child, and say softly, "I'm here. Tell me everything." Tears might flow, stories might unfold, but in that presence, wounds begin to mend. Thorne didn't advocate for a life of stark austerity. He urged us to embrace silence without fear, to recognize it as the cradle of all we've pushed away. And now, the grand revelation, the myth we must dismantle together. Society whispers that pleasure is the ultimate prize, that happiness is a constant feel-good state, that indulging freely equals liberation. But real freedom isn't indulging every whim. It's transcending the need to. True pleasure blooms in the realization that you don't require distractions to feel complete. You can linger in quiet moments and find them brimming with life, full of your own presence, your unfiltered truth, your innate strength. You'll notice the change in yourself, and so will others. Friends might say, "Hey, you've been different lately. Quieter, more thoughtful." You'll respond with a knowing smile, because you've shed the compulsions. Less mindless drinking at gatherings, fewer hours lost to social media vortexes, responses to messages that come from intention rather than impulse. They won't grasp it at first, that you're not withdrawing. You're arriving fully in the now. This shift makes you formidable, immune to the pull of ads, unbroken by addictions, a quiet rebel in a noisy world. Thorne's words echo here. The greatest gift of life is uncovering your authentic self. You're not defined by cravings or consumption. You're a weaver of meaning, even when it's tough, tiring, or messy. Meaning doesn't always sparkle with pleasure. It's the grit of pursuing a passion project through setbacks, the exhaustion of mending a fractured friendship with honest words, the inconvenience of choosing depth over ease. But it sustains you profoundly, like a hearty stew warming you through a winter storm. So, when that familiar urge strikes next, the pull toward the fridge, the screen, the escape, halt for a breath. Don't battle it or berate yourself. Gently inquire, what does my soul truly crave in this moment? That simple question is a key unlocking doors long shut. It empowers you to author your story, reminding you that you're not at the mercy of hungers. You're the wise guide deciding how to nourish them. As we wrap this up, my friend, know that you'll view pleasure through new eyes, not as an enemy, but as a companion to be chosen wisely. You'll still delight in life's sweetness. The belly laughs with loved ones, the warmth of a lover's touch, the simple joy of a sunset stroll. But it'll be laced with mindfulness, guarding your serenity against fleeting temptations. Your joys will turn sacred, your bonds purer, your routines resilient, and your silences a treasure trove of gold. For the truest pleasure is the one that finds you, unbidden, when you've stopped chasing shadows and started embracing the light within. And in that embrace, you'll discover a fulfillment deeper than any disguise could ever offer.